And you're the newest member to the Board of Directors of FRC.
I am.
And a lot of people would be curious why a lady with your credentials and your experience would volunteer to be on the board of a not-for-profit like FRC. Could you talk to me about that a little bit?
I'd love to. When I heard about the Farm Resource Center, I really didn't know a lot about it, and then I got to know some of the people that were involved, such as yourself, another board member, and I found out that the outreach and crisis intervention that Farm Resource does for people in rural communities, the people who really need it, these people are benefiting from Farm Resource Center. And I don't think that traditional mental health services today can touch what the Farm Resource Center does. It's my understanding that last year alone, 4,000 individuals and families were served in 55 rural counties in Illinois. And that, without a center like the Farm Resource Center, this wouldn't have happened. These people would not have gained the services and the intervention that they had from Farm Resource Center. So I'm thrilled to be a part of this organization.
Good. Are there things that you would like to ask me about the program to clarify for you?
Yes. When we talk about crisis intervention, what does that mean? What does Farm Resource Center do for crisis intervention?
Our effort is to help people deal with a personal emotional issue that they might be having without getting in there and labeling them as mentally ill or needing more advanced type of treatment. Sometimes they just need someone to listen to what's going on in their life. And when they are able to sit and talk with someone who maintains confidentiality, who has been trained in crisis intervention, who follows a code of ethics, it makes it easier for them as rural people to kind of, I use the term, unload their wagon in terms of their emotional burdens that they're carrying. Rural people, as a culture, are more resistive to reaching out and saying, I need your help. They are always more proud and independent in their actions, and they're really, in that way, less likely to call up the mental health center in town and say, I need help.
How many towns have a mental health center?
Well, most counties do. They may be a combination of two counties going together for one mental health center, but generally speaking, counties will have clinics where people can go for services. But one of the problems today in these tight budget times is that there is a waiting list at most of these facilities. And sometimes the waiting list can be as long as 3 months. And if you're in a crisis, 3 months is an eternity.
What kinds of crises do you see often with your consumers?
We often have people call, and the first thing they'll say is, I have a financial problem. And we don't say, well, you've called the wrong place. What we say is, we don't have money to give you. However, we do have outreach workers that would be able to schedule a visit at your home and talk with you about the things that are going on and perhaps give you some solutions that maybe you didn't think of before.
So do your workers set up appointments at an office, or do they go to the consumer?
They go directly to the consumer's home most of the time, but they will see the consumer at another appropriate place of the consumer's choosing. But most of the time we provide the service at the kitchen table in the individual's home.
And I understand that's a very important part of the outreach that the outreach counselors do? Why is that kitchen table setting so important?
In this country, the kitchen table is a place where most families, when they're dealing with important issues, they go and they deal with those issues at the kitchen table. They don't go to the front room and sit on the couch and talk about the issues. They go to the kitchen table and maybe have a glass of tea and talk about who we're going to get to be pallbearer for Grandpa's funeral, or where we're going to have Sis's wedding reception. These discussions take place at the kitchen table. So it's a familiar place for people to deal with issues that is important for the family. Another thing about the kitchen table, it helps us be able to provide a family-focused service. If you are providing a service at their kitchen table, you are going to draw the rest of the family into this process of helping this family get through this crisis.